Hello there. This is a really spontaneous stream. I wasn't planning this at all whatsoever. I'm just gonna wait for a few people to join here. Yeah, we don't need to be a whole crowd today. It's just going to be a really short stream. Actually, I'm just kind of bridging the time that it takes for my editing software to render the next episode of my T-Rex video series, the Monogame series. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just gonna stream to kind of, spend the time in a more productive way while I'm waiting for the video to render. And I hope the audio is okay. I hope the video quality is okay. I might even need to zoom in a little on my monitor. I think it's actually not zoomed in as I usually do when I record or stream. Let's see. Yeah, it's not zoomed in. There we go. Yeah, but I'm just gonna wait a few more minutes for people to maybe join. This wasn't even announced at all, so this is really spontaneous, and it's not going to be a very long stream, so probably around 30-40 minutes maybe. Let me just prepare something here. Okay. Just a few more minutes. Actually, hold on, let me show you something here. I hope I can. Actually, I really hope that the rendering process, the video rendering process, doesn't impact the performance of the stream at all. It probably does to an extent, but I hope it's not too bad. But hold on. Let me prove to you here. There. This is the rendering process. It's just going to take a while because this is going to be a longer episode. About 1 hour. So slightly longer than usual. And yeah, it's going to take a while. So I figured let's stream to bridge over this time. And it's not going to be anything particularly special we're doing today here. So I'm planning to do a video series called Abstraction is Key. And it's basically about pointing out the importance and the importance and like generally how useful it is to not rely too much on concrete implementations, but rather look at what components your software consists of and basically abstract certain components and behavior so that you can swap them out and increase testability and all of that good stuff that comes with abstraction. So I figured I could give some useful tips with actual practical use cases where they can be applied. And yeah, I figured I would need some sample code for the first video in the series. And I thought, well, let's stream it. I'm just going to wait like 2, 3, 4 more minutes and then we'll just start. And if people want to join in, that's fantastic. If not, they can watch the video on demand or whatever. It's just, let's just have some fun here. Maybe I should start putting in some background music, but I'm kind of careful about that because, you know, with the copyright strikes and stuff, I really need to make sure that it's music that I'm free to use, that I won't get any problems with. So, oh, hi. Hi there. Yeah, welcome to the stream. This is a really spontaneous stream. I haven't planned anything. But the point of this stream is I want to create a new video series on this channel called Abstraction is Key, where I point out which video are we talking about? Yeah, I'm going to get to that. It's going to be about a new video series where I point out practical tips about the importance of abstraction in object-oriented programming and how you can use it and apply it in practical use cases. And I figured for the first series, I would need some, for the first video in the series, the first episode, I would need some sample code. And I don't want this new series to be too much off the cuff. I actually want to prepare some code, have some examples ready, and then, yeah, actually show in the video, show the actual examples that I prepared beforehand and work with that. So, and for that, actually, I need some sample code and I need to code it, actually. And this is what this stream is for. And it's not going to be a very long stream. It's probably going to be around 30 to 40 minutes, I think, because I'm basically just bridging the time that it takes for my video to render. The next entry in the Monogame tutorial series. So yeah, nothing special here, nothing particularly awesome. It's just a kind of humble coding session here where we just prepare some sample code, and that's it. So yeah, I think we can just start, and if people want to join in, then that's absolutely cool. So let's go ahead. So I figured for the first episode, I want to keep it very simple. I'm just going to create a simple WPF project where some customer data, some fictional customer data is shown and can be maintained by the user. So just some simple GUI where the user can read some customer data and enter new customer data. Very, very simple. Basically just a very simple CRUD application. And the point is that what I want to do is I want to keep the data source abstract so that it can be swapped out. Because a lot of times I see people depending on a concrete implementation and just directly access the database and stuff like that instead of abstracting that part, that component of the software, and then being able to swap that out if they need things like that. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to create a WPF project here. And I hope the video and audio quality is all right. So we're going to create a .NET Core WPF app. And let's just call it, I don't know, sudo company, sudo app. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and like I said, in the background, the new video is actually rendering, so that might actually impact the performance of the stream. So I apologize for that. Hold on. There we go. I think I might have to zoom in a little here. Yeah, okay. Everything is great, don't worry. Okay, good to hear. So I'm just gonna start right away and add a folder here. Usually I tend to structure my application, in multiple assemblies that in a way that it makes sense. But for this very, very simple example, I'm not going to do that because that's not the point of the video. So I'm just going to add a namespace here, named data. And I can really tell that my laptop is quite busy rendering the video, but it'll have to do. So I'm going to add a new class, and I'm just going to add a POCO class here for the customer data. And yeah, let's think, what kind of data do we need? What kind of data is typically associated with a customer in actual practical use cases? I guess it has some kind of customer ID, and I guess they have a first name and probably a last name as well. Oh, Nightbird. Awesome. Hey, great to see you here. This is nothing special. This is not going to be a particularly awesome, great stream. It's actually very spontaneous. I didn't plan anything at all. I was just in the middle of rendering my new video, and I thought, okay, that's going to take a while because it's like an hour-long video. So it's going to take at least 1 hour to render. And I thought, hey, I haven't uploaded in almost 2 weeks. So I thought, hey, let's just stream. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. What else? I guess the birth date might be something of interest. Or maybe in some cases we don't have a birth date, so we're going to make nullable. Just some generic simple data. It shouldn't be too overwhelming. Face review. Well, you can already see my face in the bottom right corner, don't you? That's what I look like. Also, it's actually not a secret. If you watch my last stream, the video on demand of it, I think there's a photo of me at some point in the stream where I basically create my blog. And also, I think my Twitter account is linked to my YouTube account, so go figure. Yeah, so what else? Simple stuff like, I don't know. I'm already thinking about it too much, so let's go maybe street, city, zip. Very, very simple. Let's even, I guess the state is kind of important. Yeah, exactly. You can just go to Twitter. I'm not making a secret of my identity, so just go to Twitter and you can basically find out all about me, or go to GitHub or whatever. I'm present on multiple social media platforms, so yeah. And I think this will be it. Let's keep it really, really simple. It's going to be a Poco class. It's not going to do anything. It's just for storing the data. And yeah, so now we want to actually show that data. And I figured in the example, I'm going to make it so that the it's basically hard-coded that the customer data is pulled from a database. And I'm going to use ADO.NET for that, even though that's kind of obsolete, and I would rather use an ORM-like entity, but I want to purposely make it kind of, yeah. I want to purposely make it look like a project that from reality, that's maybe like already 5 years old or something like that. You know, something out of the real life. So yeah. Okay, I saw your face. You're pretty. Thanks. Yeah, the Monogame series, the new video is rendering as we speak. It's going to take about, I don't know, 40-50 minutes. And then I will have to upload it, and that's also going to take like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes. So it's going to be up tonight. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, I guess we can already create a database, which will literally just be one table, but just for the sake of simplicity. And I hope I have everything that I need. This is a fairly new laptop setup, so I might be missing something, but let's see. This is a database from a different personal project of mine, so let's just ignore that. And obviously you can see that my SQL Server Management Studio is in German, so I apologize for that, but we're just gonna have to deal with that. I'm not sure if I can actually just change the language. I don't think so. I mean, obviously you can change the language, but I might have to install a language pack or something. Editor. We're just going to keep it in German. It doesn't really matter. So create a new database. Let's call it sudo company sudo database. That's fine. and literally just one single table. Where is it? I'm just going to create it via query. Let's call it customer. I have to look back into the class. Hold on just a sec. Where was it? Here. Customer ID, first name, last name. I guess actually maybe we should just use an integer for the ID and then just use auto increment. It's going to be even easier. Because that's not the focus of the video that I want to create. So first name, let's say 200 characters. It can be null. Sometimes we may not know the first name of a customer. So if you expected like a super fancy stream where we do really complicated stuff, that's not going to happen. It's just going to be very, very simple. And I guess you could normalize it and put street, city, and zip into a separate table. Would probably make sense, but for the sake of simplicity, and zip. And that's not going to be 200 characters. That's going to be like, I don't know, 10. Maybe let's be generous and say 16. And I guess that's it. There we go. No problem, man. I just always love to see other people code their solutions. Great if you want to learn something new. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, unless it's like someone who, and I don't want to sound pretentious, but obviously if you already have some, I don't know, a couple years of experience, it's probably not going to be very fun to watch someone who's doing their first steps. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's actually, that'd be actually pretty cool. I don't know. But I know where you're coming from. I know what you mean. There we go. There we have our table. Let's put some sample data in there. And now it's your turn. Give me some sample data. I mean, obviously the first record is going to be Bob Ross in Paint Street 47, Paintington or something. But feel free to shoot me some other customer data. Whoops. And I'm not going to look up real places, real zip codes and stuff. It's just going to be completely fictional. Whoops. But I do need to know Bob Ross's birth date, right? No disrespect to the legend, so. It's October 29th, 1942. So, October 29th. I guess. What did I say? 19 what? 1942. And then October 29th. Gordon Ramsay, Steve Irwin. Done. Oops. Paint Street 47. Paintington. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some more values. Gordon. I wonder what the pseudo company does, that they have Bob Ross and Gordon Ramsay as their customers. But I don't want to look up Gordon Ramsay. Whoa, what's wrong here? Did I put a dot here or something? Did I miss something? First name, last name. That should be fine. I don't know. I don't even know how old he is. Let's just say 19 something. Okay, let's look it up. Oh, and I misspelled his name. Okay, it's November 8th, 1966. Yummy Plaza 12. I don't know. Somewhere. And another one. Let's just say Laura Kinney. I don't know. 1994. 12. 1. Mutant Boulevard 23. Someplace, I don't know. Clawville. 7, 8, 9, 2, 1. There we go. Fire. Wait, what? Ah, yeah. It's probably expecting German format here for the data, for the date time values, or at least it's going to expect me to swap date and month. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Why is the first one number 2? I don't know. doesn't matter. Okay. I think I'm going to actually save this. Maybe just to my desktop for now. Just so maybe that I can attach it to the upcoming video or something in the description or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's it for the database, I guess. So now we need the connection string to the database. So let's go back here, and I think we can just do that up here in the, where is it? Server Explorer. And let me actually check the progress of the rendering. There it is. Well, it's going to be another half an hour or something. So that's how long you, I guess that's how long you can expect the stream to be. Yeah, that's it. So, where was I? Server Explorer. Add connection. Server name. Oh, I always forget. I think it's just, hold on. Let me just open another instance here. Oh, come on. There it is. It's on my other monitor, so you can see it. There. Go back here, paste the server name, select database, and there it is. Sudo company, sudo database. Authentication. I guess for now I can just use Windows authentication. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, let's just go with that. And then here I should be able to get the connection string. Here. And I'm actually going to put that in the config file. Or maybe not. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Database. And let's call it customer DAO. Oh, not Kutoma. Kutoma. There. And yeah, this customer data access object is then supposed to actually retrieve the data from the database and insert new data. And in the sample code, I'm going to have only this one very specific concrete implementation. And then the UI part of the app is just going to directly reference this data access object. And then the point of the video will be that I refactor the solution so that it doesn't depend on a concrete implementation, but rather uses an abstraction, an interface that can then be dependency injected into the view model, so that it's easier to maintain and actually you can actually swap out the data source. And that's going to be the whole point of the video. And the whole video is going to be about maybe 20 minutes. And that's what this new series will be like. It's just going to be a series of short videos that are concluded in themselves. So it's not going to be like a long series, ongoing series like this T-Rex Monogame series. It's just going to be short videos with practical tips, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, maybe I could even, to emphasize the point of this even more, I could make this class static. So that I can even, when I refactor it, I can point out how making it non-static makes much more sense, because then I can abstract it, generalize it, and use dependency injection. With this way, I would always have concrete dependencies. Yeah, so I guess that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go with a bad example here, and I'm going to make the class static. So first of all, I'm going to put the connection string here. Customer. Come on. There. Yeah, my laptop is kind of struggling because it has to render the video in the background. Something's not right. Wait, what? Oh, I didn't give the method a name. Get customers. And like I said, I'm going to use ADO or ADO or ADO or however you want to call it in this case, just to give a, let's say, a very, I don't want to see bad example just because it's not bad to use ADO. It's just supposed to be very rough, so that I can even make a clearer point in how important it is or how useful it would be to abstract this data source and then be able to swap out and use dependency injection and stuff like that. Okay, so in order for that, we're going to need to reference a NuGet package. And I'm not even sure, is there an ADO.NET NuGet package? There might not even be, because it's probably obsolete. Or is it just included in, hold on. Okay, it's just in a different namespace. Hold on. Oops. Yeah, okay. I thought it was going to be in a different assembly, but apparently not. And I haven't used ADO in a while, So it's probably going to take me a few minutes to get back into it. Let me just look something up here. Yeah, first of all, I'm going to need the connection. It's probably in a different namespace. Install package, but why do I need to install it then? Okay, never mind. Okay. There we go. Congrats for 200 subs. Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty proud of that, I gotta say. Because I actually gathered a lot of subs just within the last 2 months, or 1 month even, I don't know. 2 months probably. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not my goal to blow up or something here on YouTube. Not at all. It's just a hobby, something that I do in the evening after work. I don't know how I did that. I think maybe people are just interested in monogame tutorials, I guess. I guess there's a lot of people that are just tired of those engines being shoved in their face, and they just want to, you know, just code some stuff, code a game, and those people they look up Monogame, and then they find my videos. I guess that's it. Because I also agree that in a lot of cases, yeah, it's not just the splash screen. I think just in a lot of cases it's just overkill to use a sophisticated engine with lots of features like particle systems and realistic physics and realistic collision detection, stuff like that, when you just want to create the freaking T-Rex runner game from Chrome. You don't need a sophisticated engine for that. It's so simple. You don't need that. It just slows stuff down, and that's not even my point. I guess it's optimized to a certain extent, but it's just overkill. So don't get me wrong, Unity is great. I don't agree with everything they do in their design decisions and stuff, but it's just stuff you don't have to actually deal with if you just want to create a very, very simple game. You can just write a few lines of code and that's it. Be done with it. So yeah, and I think Monogame is excellent for that. I'm really a big fan of Monogame. I think what they provide is just a really awesome product. And it's actually just a continuation of Microsoft XNA. So I guess I'm just a big fan of Microsoft products. Shame me for it if you want, but I'm just a big fan, I guess. But anyway, let's see. Gosh, I haven't used AutoNet in a while. So let's go ahead here. I think I have to create an SQL command where I have to pass the command text. Yeah. So this is actually never use 3D. Also, you don't get the sense of accomplishment. Yeah, I guess, kind of. I mean, it is a good feeling when in an engine like Unity you can realize your visions in a fairly short amount of time. But I don't know. For me, it's just more fun to code it myself. And also, I don't know, you kind of boxed into their design ideas. And don't get me wrong, I'm still planning on using the engine for a couple projects. And I'm not just talking Unity, there are other engines too. So I'm not trying to down talk, trash talk the engine or any particular engine. It's just that I think that for simple projects, there's no need to go overboard and use an engine. But yeah, back to work. So let's just write the simple select query here. And obviously, this would be maintenance hell to have a data access object where the queries are just hard-coded as string literals. But like I said, this is just sample code. It's purposely, it's to some degree purposely not the best design-wise. That's why I'm using a static class. So yeah. Anyway, select. Whoops. What's wrong with my? Oh, there. Did I call it customers or customer? I think customer. Let's see. Yeah. That'll be fine. There should be an execute method, I think. Oh, I need to open the connection first, of course. And I'm not going to bother with proper exception handling and stuff because it's just sample code. So who really cares? Oh, actually, does it take any? Yeah, that's fine. Oops. Ah, come on. just, yes, the column name. So that's customer ID. And I think I named them exactly as the properties in the class, right? Yeah. Then I can just do this. And it's going to, I think it returns an object just, yeah. Or I can do this. I'll get out of the way. It kind of feels refreshing to not worry about proper code design and good practices at this point, because it's not supposed to be very good practice. It's supposed to be sample code that I can use in next video. So city is going to be, I don't need to convert, reader. Oops. Maybe if it's null. Whoops, to string. Zip. There. Let me just check the progress of the render. Still taking half an eternity, so yeah, I guess that'll be fine, and then we'll have to just return the customer list. There. Yep. And for now, that'll be it. So let's go. Working on an error all day for today. Might just found. Whoa, hold on. Working on an error all day for today. Might just have found the solution via a completely unrelated error. Minus the first one. Yeah, I love when that happens. Sometimes you stumble upon a completely different error. And then it just kind of falls into place. So, okay, that's fine. It really gives me a stomach ache to see this is a static class, but it's supposed to be a bad example, so that's okay. Let's create a view model. Let's call it customer overview view model. And let's see. Basically what I want to do is just have a really generic UI with a data grid or something that just lists all of the customer data, and then the user can click add to just insert a new record into the database, and that's it. Really, really simple. So okay, we're going to need, let's just go ahead. Let's see. Hold on. This needs to be an observable collection. And obviously this is in a different namespace, so there. What else? Oh yeah. So clear the list. Use the customer DAO to retrieve the customers. And then add them. Oh yeah, the sorry, the observable collection doesn't have an add range method, so we're going to have to loop over them. There. Let's keep it really, really simple. No error handling whatsoever. And then in the constructor, we're going to call that method. And later on, what I want to do in the actual video that I'm preparing here, what I want to do then is have an argument here in the constructor that of an interface type that abstracts or generalizes the data source, and that you can dependency inject the data access object into the view model, so that the view model doesn't rely on this specific concrete implementation. In this case, it's even a static one, so that's even worse. So, but that's the point. That's the point of the video. So, yeah. So yeah, that's fine, I guess. I think we can already build the UI. So let's just rename this main window customer overview. There it is. I'm going to hard code the title. maybe something like sudo company customer overview. And then I'm going to add some UI elements. I haven't decided yet. I guess I can just simply use a data grid. I guess that's the most obvious and simple choice. Or maybe a list view. Maybe a list view would look a little nicer. Hello there, how are you guys? Oh, hi there. Yeah, I'm actually doing great. I hope you're doing great as well. Welcome to the stream. This is a very spontaneous stream. It's not planned, it's just preparing some sample code for an upcoming video series. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating some sample code for a video that I want to record that is about basically refactoring the sample code. So I'm going to use some direct dependencies here, have some bad practices, some code smells that I'm going to refactor in the other video. And yeah, that's the whole purpose of the stream. And basically I just want to pass the time that it takes for my video to render in the background. So yeah, the other series is going to be called Abstraction is Key. That's going to be a series of short videos that are all about maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And yeah, it's going to be a series about how you can leverage and really make use of abstraction and to think of your software components in a more abstract way and keep your code maintainable and stuff like that. Just general tips and practical applications, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what the series is going to be about, and I'm going to need some sample code for that. So I figured, why not create the sample code in a stream? There we go. Will some primitive obsession perhaps be in order? What do you mean? Oh, you mean to rely too much on primitive data types, or so instead of creating a class for something or a struct, instead just keep everything in primitive fields? Anyway, let's go ahead. I'm actually quite the opposite of that. A lot of times I find myself creating classes and structs for all of the all possible things that you may not actually need to encapsulate in an actual class, but you know, whatever. So let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. First of all, let's go into the code behind here. And I'm going to need a customer overview view model. It's quite a mouthful. Oops. Oh, they think there's already one. I don't know. Wrong. Inconsistent accessibility. Okay. Then let's just make this public. It doesn't matter. Let's not think about this too much. Yeah, it's just since you talk about abstraction, yeah, the series is just going to, because just from experience in a lot of scenarios, I've seen that people tend to, or developers, especially if they don't have too much experience yet, they tend to rely on concrete implementations too much, and just they don't tend to think in abstract software components. So they, instead of thinking, then I need to retrieve the data from the data source, they think, then I need to run this select query. Like, instead of abstracting this component, instead of thinking there's just going to be a data source and I don't really care what kind of data source and how exactly the data is stored, and if it's a relational database or a web service or just a large XML file or whatever, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people, when they design software, they just directly think in concrete implementations. And then they just hard code their select queries into their data access objects and stuff like that. So yeah, and the series is going to be about some tips to alleviate that. So yeah, but let's walk the walk and not talk the talk. Yeah, basically use interfaces, or maybe an abstract class, but mostly interfaces, yeah. So you got it, yeah. And that's really the point of this particular video that I'm going to create with this sample code. So it's going to, I'm going to make it so that I'm going to dependency inject an interface here into the view model, into the constructor, so that the data source can be swapped out and tested and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, you got it. Now I really lost track here. Sorry. Oh yeah. So my laptop is a little bit slow due to the rendering process in the background, so I apologize for that. It's really struggling to a certain extent. Yeah, so I guess I can now go to the XAML and add, where is it? Data grid. Oh, no, I need to. But where is it? I guess I can just auto-generate the columns, but make it read-only. But where is it? Where is the actual data grid? Am I blind or just stupid? unfortunately, I have to go now. Have fun. Yeah, thank you, Nightbird. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you in the next stream. I don't know when that's going to be. It's probably going to be spontaneous as well, but we'll see. So, good night. I think theoretically we're at a point where we can actually run it if we didn't forget anything, which we probably did. Oh yeah. Cannot be found. That's because I renamed it. Wait, hold on, what? Oh yeah, here. Invalid operation. Execute reader. Connection property has not been initialized. Really? Did I forget that? Connection open. And first of all, oh no, that's fine. Hold on. Let me put a breakpoint here. Usually, of course, I would use the entity framework or something like that, or nhibernate, but for this simple example we're just going to use Ado. There, connection property has not been initialized, but what part did I forget? Oh yeah, I think I need to, oh yeah, I either need to set the connection of the command via property, or I need to use the create command method, because right now I'm not actually, the command is not associated with the connection at all. So that was a stupid mistake. So let's actually go ahead and say create command, and I think here it can pass, or maybe not. There. I think now this should fix the problem. State. Oh yeah. I think I forgot to include the state column in the database. Yeah. Whoops. Whoopsie. Never mind, actually. Let's just remove the state. We don't care. What's wrong with my... There. I accidentally bookmarked this. Ah, unbookmark it. No, not all of them. Ah, yes. Yeah. And then we have to go back into the DAO and here also. So let's just forget about the state. Yeah, it's working. It's just on a different monitor. Hold on. There. So yeah, the application is generally working. And now we just need to add some fancy stuff. fancy in a thick pair of quotes. Oh, and I should probably not include the time in the birth date, because it's very weird and coincidental that all of them were born at 12 a.m. That's kind of curious. So isn't there, I'm not actually sure if it can be used with WPF directly, but isn't there an attribute that I can use here for the date format? I mean, I can also do it in the XAML, but there's a display format attribute, but I'm not sure if the data grid actually picks that up. So let's just say month, day, year. But I don't think the data grid will pick that up. Probably have to create the columns manually. Yeah, it's not picking it up. The on a Razor page in a ASP.NET project, that would pick it up, but the data grid doesn't work with those attributes, apparently. Let me check the progress of the render. Should take about 20 more minutes, I guess. So as soon as the rendering of the video is done, I'm going to call it a day. But I'm gonna need to pass the time anyway, so I'm going to keep the stream going. But yeah, just a heads up. It's going to be about 20 minutes, and then I guess you will get 2 videos for the price of none. Because there will be the video on demand available for this stream, and also the new episode of the Monogame tutorial series. And I hope that I can release the next episode of the Monogame series earlier. I'm really sorry it took me almost 2 weeks to release the new episode, but I just didn't have the time. So yeah, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, so I guess we can't auto generate the columns just because of that date, which is unfortunate, to say the least. But I guess we can make use of that by adjusting the titles and things like that. Wait. Nope. Oh, that was actually... Hold on. Ah! Sorry. Binding was actually correct. Oh no, actually. Customer ID. And we can call it date of birth here. Here we can say wait. I guess we have to escape these. And then go what was the other? Street, city, zip, and city. And that should do the trick, I guess. Yeah. But I guess I should use actual. Where is it? Should probably use a dot here. Did I just... Yeah. Okay. Okay, so fine. It doesn't need to be super fancy. It's just going to do its job and yeah. That's it. But let's not make it possible. Can user reorder columns? False. Oh, whatever. Yeah, and I think that's fine. Why do I use light theme? I know a lot of devs like or prefer the dark theme, but I don't have the best eyes, and I can't work with that. When I use dark theme for too long, it really strains my eyes, and things become blurry. So it doesn't work for me. It's just my eyes are pretty poor. I have pretty poor eyesight, and it just doesn't work for me. So that's why I use light theme. What's your view on methods and their lengths? What do you mean? Oh, maximum length for a method. I guess it's... I get you can't really put a number on that. It's like saying... sometimes you read that people say, like, if a class has more than so and so lines, then it needs to be separated into multiple classes, which in a lot of instances is true, but I don't think you can put a number on that. It really depends on what you're doing. So I don't know. I've never really thought about it. It's just if you can organically and meaningfully separate your methods into smaller methods, then do that. Obviously, don't have a method that's like 600 lines of code. You know, it really depends. As usual in development, it depends. So, by the way, thank you for the Monogame tutorials. You're an amazing resource and developer. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really depends on the context. Sometimes you may have like link queries in there that you, for formatting and readability reasons, you put them into multiple lines. So that already occupies like maybe, I don't know, one link statement, one link query, that's already like 8 lines of code. So how is that a standard? You know? You can't say, okay, now it's 8 lines of code already, so I've almost exceeded my quotum, so it's not a thing. So it really depends. So yeah. I mean, yes, of course, if the hardware is limited, and let's say you have a stack that only holds, I don't know, 16 kilobytes, and then overflows, obviously you can't have your method be too long, but I don't know if that's a thing. But yeah, it really depends on the context. So, okay, what else do we need? I guess we need a button to insert data. And maybe a refresh button. And by the way, I want to, hold on. Let's rename this here, because I'm going to reuse it later. Yeah, I guess the number of parameters can be a good indication for that, but another solution for that might be to encapsulate the parameters in a class, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can use an options pattern for that, which makes sense. So you basically have a class that's called so-and-so options, and then it has like, I don't know, 5 or 6 properties that you set accordingly, but it really depends on the context. Yeah, so hold on. Sorry, I need to get my thoughts straight. So let's just say we add a button, I don't know, down here, add customer, that opens up a little box, a new window where you can add a customer, just enter the data, fire, and it inputs the data, and that's it. I don't want this to be too fancy and too big of a project. It's just for proving a point. So Yeah, it's like everything else in software development. It really depends on the context. You can't say. I mean, obviously, if you go to the extreme and say, and you have a class that's 2,000 lines of code, then obviously there's something wrong with it. But I don't. I think it's really hard to just say, okay, if it's 400 lines, then that's too much. It really depends. It really depends on your formatting. It really depends on what you're modeling, or what hardware. Well, not hardware, not too much, but your general design. Okay, let's add the button. And I'm just going to use hard-coded values for the labels and stuff. I'm not going to put that in a resource file and have it localized and stuff. That's overkill for this thing. So say create customer, or maybe let's have it more domain based. Let's say register new customer and make it large, and maybe, oh no, it's called style. Never mind, let's just use the default button. I've had to look at the socket class, and it's 2.2k lines. It depends on context. Yeah, right. I mean, maybe not. Maybe whoever wrote that socket class is not entirely satisfied with how it's designed. Maybe they would like to break it up, but they just didn't find the time or didn't have the resources or whatever. I don't know. So we can either go the quick and dirty way now and just add an event handler to this button, or do it properly and have a command in the view model, which I think I'm going to do. Yeah, let's just do that. And it will just always be executable, so okay, 10k. Okay, that's, no, it's fine. I mean, if I wanted to straight up just work on the code, I wouldn't be streaming, right? It's fine to hang out and discuss things like that. It's fun. So we don't have to actually have to ever invoke this event, since it's always going to be true. So actually, we need the new window first. Okay, so let's just go quick and dirty. First name. Ah, that's fine, whatever. Label, 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 label. Did I just accidentally? Let me zoom in. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be fancy at all. Street. Maybe first. Just put it down here. I was just about to say maybe I should have saved creating this code for a dedicated video, but that's what I'm doing right now, isn't it? So, okay. That was a stupid thought. Zip. Hold on. What's wrong? Okay, it's going to be really ugly, but who cares? And I guess that's it. I guess we could put this in a group and stuff, but it's for proving a point, not for winning a beauty contest, so. Oh, sorry. Would probably be much faster if I just typed the XAML instead of using the visual editor, but whatever. Yeah. Actually, do I need to reference it by name? Probably not. No, I just need to have a binding. Whoops. What's wrong with that? Oh. Ah, sure. This doesn't have to be a text box. It needs to be a date picker. Oh, and it's in German. Isn't that great? Actually, what other projects do you have working on a proper application library other than this tutorial stuff? Currently, I'm struggling to find a new project that I can work on as a hobby. I mean, I'm a developer as a profession, so it's my job. So I do work on projects, but for my company and not for my personal stuff. I do have a game project going on. It's actually a monogame project, but I haven't worked on that in a while. It's like a roguelike action shooter thing. But like I said, I haven't worked on it in a while, and I've kind of felt uninspired about it. Then for couple of weeks ago, I think I did a what kind of projects they working on? Hold on. A couple of weeks ago, I joined a weekly game jam where I created a very simple Atari style game, and for that I actually used Unity because it was a week long jam where I had a teammate and he didn't know Monogame and he wanted to use Unity, and I was perfectly fine with that because we only had 1 week and it's way faster to use an engine in most of the cases. What kind of projects are you working on for your company? I guess the biggest project was, and I'm not going to get too specific because of privacy reasons and stuff, but the biggest project was a cloud-based solution for utility companies for basically it was both a customer relations application, but primarily it was for creating invoices and stuff. But I'm not going to get into the specifics. And other than that, I work on currently I'm in a SAP related project where I do full stack. Most of the time I work full stack in this utility company application. I was also working as a full stack developer. Yeah, off the top of my head, those are the 2 kinds of projects that I've been working on. No, it's not a protocol, it's an ERP. No, SAP is an ERP software, an enterprise resource enterprise resource planning software. It's basically a huge framework yeah, where currently I actually have a couple projects there going on, but the largest thing that is most recent was this application for utility companies, like a cloud-based web application. But I don't want to go into the details. How do I select a date? Yeah, I just think it's common decency to not get too specific when you talk about projects that are not your own. So yeah. please excuse that. So please understand that I'm not going to go into detail there too much. But to give you a rough idea is most of the times I work as a full stack web developer for different projects, and one of them is like I said, a large web-based, cloud-based utility company application. And I feel like this whole thing has taken way too long, but that's mostly because I'm streaming and I'm talking to you guys, and that's perfectly fine. Whoops, what did I do? What? Okay, never mind. It doesn't need to be pretty. Who cares? There. Now just a button for applying the data. Let's say save. Cancel. There. That should do the trick, right? Now we need a view model for this. I'm going to make it public, even though it doesn't really make sense. Okay. And this may seem redundant at first, but it's going to make sense in a bit. Ah. I'm actually going to, can I do that with all of them at once? No, of course not. I'm actually going to convert those to full properties. Gotta be consistent. Now let's just go ahead here. Whoops. So yeah, I'm really looking for a side project that I can dedicate myself to in my spare time that really yeah, that really, how can I put it, that I just enjoy. Let's just put it like that. Like I said, I have this game project, but lately I feel more like doing or like creating more useful applications instead of just games, but I don't know. I was working on a Monogame based game engine a couple years ago. And I thought maybe I can revive that project. But I don't know. So the point of this here is that I'm going to actually implement the iNotify property changed interface here, so that the data binding works both ways, bi-directional. Oh, no. Oh, no. And now I have to actually... I guess I should write a code snippet for that at some point, but I'll just have to do it manually now. So I can raise this event every time a property changes. Ah. Keep clicking the wrong identifier. There. That should be fine. And I need to implement this command. Let's just say actually wanted to instantiate the window. Technically not a view model, but I'll just keep it in here. Mm. How did that happen? Ah, context. There. And now I guess I can just data bind this command here to the button. So let's go into the overview view model. Let's add a property here. There. And now go into the XAML, go to the button, say command, binding path, register, open register command. It's always starting up on the other monitor for some reason. And the other window is also on the other. Okay, for some reason I have to pull this up a little bit, but generally it's working. I don't know why this is in German, but I guess for the sake of the video, it's not going to be... I guess I can just change the text, hard code it. For the sake of the video, it's not going to be a problem. It's really strange. Why was it all the way down there? I mean, I guess I can use a stack panel, but I don't feel like putting in the effort. It's not worth it. Ah, that's fine. It's extremely ugly, but it doesn't really matter. Let me check the rendering process. Oh, it's close to done. It's just another minute maybe. And I'm going to have to quote-unquote QA watch it before I upload it. I always do that because sometimes I happen to make a mistake or something in the editing, or I don't know. So usually what I do is I speed it up, so it's double speed, and then I watch it. So since it's an hour-long video, that's going to take half an hour, and then I'm going to upload it. So, but let me finish this here first. I mean, I guess I can just use delegate commands. Doesn't matter. And that sound effect, if you just heard that, was the indication that the rendering process is done. Yep, it's done. Great. Anyway, let me just finish this here really quick. Oh, right, I don't have, whoops. Uh-huh. And that should do the trick. Yep, okay. I almost want to say I want to at least finish the insert, because then I'm practically done with all of it. I mean, I don't know. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to incorporate in this, and that's querying for data. Because that's going to be a huge point in the actual upcoming video. So I'm not quite done yet. I mean, even if I did the insert, I would have to also implement the, like, some sort of search functionality here where you can query for the customer data. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna call it a night. At least it's nighttime where I am. Yeah, I think I'm going to conclude the stream now. Thanks everybody for tuning in and staying and hanging out. It was really fun. Actually didn't expect this to be such a long session. Like it's been 2 hours. I thought I was gonna do like a 30-minute, 40-minute stream, maybe 1 hour maximum, but now it's been 2 hours. So yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time, and look forward to seeing this code that we created today as the sample code in a new tutorial video, which I don't know yet when I'm going to release it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to need this code for it. So this was pretty productive, I'd say. All right. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time.